Howdy everyone, Hikiko here, and thank you so much for your responses to my last video where I asked you what you wanted to see from me. One user responded that they wanted to know what it was like upgrading from a PlayStation 4 to an Xbox Series X. And that's something I never thought I would do because I'm a lifelong Sony fan. I've bought every PlayStation console and handheld at launch as my primary console of that generation. Well, this time I did something a little different, and I wanted to talk about all the features that I appreciated about the PlayStation 4 and some of the features that I enjoy the most about the Series X and some features I miss switching from Sony to Microsoft. And there are some major differences that I would like to talk about. Anyways, this has nothing to do with console wars. Never been about that, not about the console wars. I just go where the games are. Anyways, without any further interruption, let's get into it. One thing I appreciate the most about the PlayStation 4 was how clean and organized the cross-media bar was. I love how I can organize each piece of software into specific folders of my choosing. I get to develop my own categories and place whatever content I want within those folders. And since PlayStation 4 was my main system for that generation, there's a lot of software to comb through. I don't know why other systems refuse to allow the user to create their own folders and have more control over their user interface, but this is one area where Microsoft should be taking notes. Another feature I used on my PS4 a lot was the share button. As you can tell by my system storage data here, I capture a lot of gameplay videos and photos here on my PlayStation 4. It's 100 times more convenient to just bust out my PlayStation 4 and hit the share button rather than hook my system up to a capture card and record on my PC. The software gives you a ton of options for capturing, and you can record in intervals up to 60 minutes at a time or as low as 30 seconds. For somebody who edits a lot of video game reviews, I love this degree of control. Even if you have no background in editing videos, you can learn a whole heck of a lot through the PlayStation 4's free video editing software known as Share Factory. Now, I haven't messed around with Share Factory all that much, but I was impressed by the sheer amount of options provided within the user interface. You can learn all the fundamentals about putting together a timeline in your PlayStation 4. It's quite impressive for free software, and every PlayStation 4 has this built in. The share button also has the feature to take screenshots, and it provides you with some high-resolution images that you can upload directly to social media or save to a USB drive. Much of Sony's software is known for including a dedicated photo mode within the game. And this is a trend that I hope will stick around, because I have a lot of fun coming up with wacky ideas for photos. The share button also allows you to broadcast directly to YouTube or Twitch, which I used to do when I was starting out with the cool streams. The degree of control is rather bare bones here, and sometimes the chat on the right-hand side will freeze after a while, but it's not terrible for the price of free. Regardless, if you have any interest in getting started making video content on YouTube or Twitch, the PlayStation 4 is a low barrier to entry, and I still haven't found a comparable system that gives you this many tools for video content creation straight out of the box for such a low price. And last but not least, I have to mention the PlayStation VR. Fair warning, these things are kind of expensive and a real pain in the butt to set up, especially for the games that incorporate two PlayStation Move wands, so you're gonna need some sort of dedicated station to keep all your PSVR gear together. There are a ton of different designs out there. I personally have one that holds two controllers, two PS Move wands, my headset, and headphones all in one, and I find it's perfect for my needs. But as I said, there's a lot of different options out there. Choose the one that's most convenient for you. The PSVR games simply don't get enough credit for how amazing they are. I kid you not, ASTRO Rescue Mission was one of the best 3D action platformers that I have ever played in my lifetime, but it gets zero credit because it's exclusive to the PSVR. What's even cooler is that Sony gave this game away for free. and after playing it, I would have gladly paid $60 for it. I think the reason why the PSVR software is so overlooked is primarily because it's hard to recapture the full experience of the VR within capture software. So it doesn't look the greatest during playback, and you just don't have that self-isolating form of immersion that you get when you have the headset on. It's truly one of those things that's better appreciated once you try it for yourself. And if you're a fan of niche experimental Japanese games like I am, then it doesn't get any more obscure than some of the titles found on the PlayStation VR. There were a ton of experimental tech demos for the PSVR that had so much potential but never came to fruition because the PSVR didn't sell all that well to justify continued development. Considering that the unit has been out for around 5 years now and has only sold 5 million of them, it really didn't catch on. For perspective, in the same amount of time, the Xbox's Kinect had sold 35 million units by that point. For many, the PSVR might seem like a gimmick, but I consider it an essential accessory to the PS4 experience. And since the price is coming down for these units, I hope more people give it a chance. And Sony, if you're gonna release a follow-up to this thing, please make it wireless, thanks.
This great bridge went through development hell, taking years to finish. Its creator called it Trico, as it's the third and most ambitious of his works.
And now that its last guardian is out of the way, it's all ours!
The beauty of the Xbox Series X lies within its simplicity. There's no bells or whistles or gamified accessories. This is a box specifically made to play games, and it plays a lot of them. It plays Xbox original games, Xbox 360, Xbox One games, and Xbox Series X games. But if that wasn't enough, it has one of the easiest installations of RetroArch on a non-modified system. I can't stress this enough. The convenience of the Series X is king. To have the majority of my video game library all in one spot without having to mess around with plugins or drivers, it's a magical thing. The Series X has also exposed me to new games that I would have never tried in the first place through the advent of Xbox Game Pass. There's over 100 games to check out at any given time, and even games that haven't even been released that you're able to download ahead of time, which will be unlocked the same day it releases. Gives me a chance to stay in the loop with what's going on in the gaming industry without breaking the bank in the process. Besides, if I end up liking a game, I'll go out and buy it anyways. The most underrated feature of the system that nobody ever brings up is the Series X's ability to remote play via the Xbox app. As long as my Series X is hooked up to the internet, I'm able to then access it via my phone and stream whatever game that I have in there to my phone and play it with an Xbox controller. But if a mobile phone is too tiny for you, well, I got some good news. There's a beta version of the Xbox Game Cloud application that you can run on any PC or laptop. I signed up for this beta a few months ago, and I've been using this service ever since. I just launched the application on my laptop, connect my controller, and I'm right there in my Xbox's user interface, and I can play whatever games I want to. Now, your mileage may vary depending on your internet service, but from my experience of using this application for a few months, I've never had any issues of disconnecting or any weird frame drops. The xCloud service is pretty dang impressive, and it makes my gaming experience with the Series X a lot more flexible. Quick resume might be my feature of the generation. The Series X allows you to suspend a game at any point and then pick up another game and just resume where you left off instantaneously. And it can juggle about 8 games at a time. Sometimes when I want to play a video game, I'm not exactly sure what I'm in the mood for. So being able to just hop back into where I left off helps me in my decision-making process. It's nice that it just skips the title screen and puts you back into the game without having to click through menus and load a save file just to get back to your spot. I love this feature. If I'm being honest, I'm not a fan of the Xbox's user interface. It's too disorganized for my taste. The top row here places your most recently used software front and center. Moving down a row is the tab for your games and apps, and then 3 whole squares dedicated to whatever Microsoft is trying to shill. Granted, when you click My Games and Apps, you're presented with an organized set of icons of all the software installed on your system, and these are categorized by the various different Xbox systems. Xbox Series X enhanced games, not to be confused with Xbox One X enhanced games, Xbox One games, and then they combined Xbox 360 with original Xbox games, which I'm not a fan of because they used to be separated, and that's how I would have categorized them. I know it's not the biggest deal in the world to a lot of people out there, but after being exposed to the PlayStation 4's user interface with the folders and the customization and the one continuous line, it's hard for me to adapt to this disorganized layout. Now, there are some options to customize your user interface, but each of the layouts are custom designed by Microsoft and not well thought out for the most part. It allows you to pin these weird subcategories to your home screen that do nothing but take up unnecessary space. For example, I have one for Deadly Premonition, a dedicated tab for Deadly Premonition. It doesn't provide any additional information or screenshots or anything relevant to the game. It just allows you to launch it, okay? And Microsoft's suggestions for apps you should add to your home screen don't really help me all that much. They're usually streaming-centric apps or more advertisements to buy shit from them. Cool, thanks. I will give them credit for allowing you to change your theme. As you can see, I went with pink. What really annoys me the most is that I've been trying to upload a custom gamer pic from a USB drive. It's this picture right here of Francis York Morgan from Deadly Premonition, so when I go to choose upload, it says you'll be able to see the updated picture once we've verified it's okay. I kid you not, I've tried this over 30 times. They never approve this photo. What is wrong with York's face that would deem him inappropriate? Fix this. Minor nitpicks aside, I'm very pleased with my Xbox Series X. And I never thought I would end up going back to Xbox as my primary console of choice. And having a small, quiet, all-in-one machine ready to go at a moment's notice for when I want to hop in and game, it's pretty much everything I want in a console. Anyways, that's been my random video about the features I liked about the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox Series X, and some suggestions I have for improving the interface of the latter. If you enjoyed this video, I have a whole playlist right here of all my system talks, and I have 2 specific videos I picked out for you. I have one on the Xbox Series X and all the other enhancements I didn't talk about here, and my PlayStation 2 Classic project. Go check it out. Anyways, I've been Hikiko. Thank you so much for all your questions and for supporting the channel, and I'll see you all next time.